What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Meran podcast. Today, my guest is Mainio Ormio. Mainio is a skier from Finland who blew up on the scene in the past years with his top-notch segments in the Forre movies. Last year, he won the Trick of the Year award at the Newschoolers award with his insane nose butter drag that was closing off his segment in Formula. I gotta be honest, with Mainio's style, creativity, and technical abilities, he's one of my favorite skiers to watch right now. In this episode, we talked about Mainio's youth, joining Forre and surface skis, filming for Forrmula and Cast, and we did a deep dive into some of his dopest street shots up to now. This episode is presented by Surface Skis. They've been in business for almost 20 years now. Surface Skis is still focused on free skiing in all its forms. With their lineup of the Giver, the Sniper, the Attila, the Cleaver, the Upper, the Merlin, and the Royale, you'll find everything you need from shredding the park, the streets, or the POW. Surface Skis is focused on providing the highest quality product at the most affordable price point. It's super cool to see a brand like this that supports skiers and video projects on all sides. Most recently, they've released the Harold Pro model, a limited edition run of their Giver skis with a super dope graphic. Support companies who support skiing, support Surface Skis. Shout out to the patrons on Patreon: Will Cameron, Raph Diaz, Laurent-Olivier Martin, Holden Baldassi, Ryan Bruninghouse, Sam Sheff, and Nick Gosselin. Also, big thanks to the sponsors: Surface Skis, Axis Board Shop, Planks Clothing, and Decan's Restaurants. Let's go. Mr. Mainio Ormio, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
How's things on your end these days?
Really good. Like, just dropped our new movie and I'm super happy about it, how it came out, and just living life.
Yeah, you told me beforehand that you're living life in Estonia right now.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Just my girlfriend got into school here and it's just a nice change of scenery. It's super close to Helsinki anyway, so might as well. I feel like when you're filming street or something, it's like better when you go on trips. Like we always have like such a good shots when we're like going to early season. Like last season we went to Joensuu, so it's like nice to have that trip mentality when I'm filming street as well. Like going to Helsinki only to like get the shots and to be there with the buddies, and yeah.
Are you scoping out spots right now in Estonia? Are you like taking notes?
Yeah, I've been like walking around, not too like much because it's a little bit cold. Don't want to go like too long of a walks, but we've been walking with the dog and I've found something good, definitely.
Is there a lot of snow in Tallinn?
It's like, because it's like super close, 70 kilometers from Helsinki, so it's almost the same, but it's still like the southern side of the ocean, so it's not as good. But it's like if you get a good winter in Helsinki, you still get a like pretty decent winter in Tallinn also.
Mm-hmm. But is it like a constant thing, or is it like 1 year you might have snow in Estonia and another not?
Yeah, I think it's you could compare it to like Stockholm, where they have had like a little bit of rough winters, not too much snow.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's more rare than in Helsinki because you get the northern coldness.
You're not sure if you're going to get snow. You need to, like, you can't really plan a trip in advance with the boys. You need to check on the moment.
Yeah, but it's chill still because you can just like go. It's so easy to just take the ferry. It's like 15 euros or something. So
yeah. So I gotta say, last year I didn't know who you were, but when I saw Forrmula, I was like, holy shit, I gotta remember that name. I gotta start right off the bat. That was probably my favorite segment of the year. So,
man, thank you.
Good job on that. Before that, I had never heard of you. So tell me, like, what's your background? Where do you come from? How'd you get into skiing? How'd you get to film with the Forre guys? Give me the backstory on Mainio, the king of nose butters.
I don't know. It's a long story. I've been skiing pretty much my whole life. My dad is like a old ski racer, and he he used to live in Espoo, where there's this like super small uh, ski resort that's like mainly like racing club type of deal. And
Did you do some ski racing?
yeah, I started like with doing ski racing as my father did, and just like skiing. We had some holidays. My grandfather used to live at the Alps, so been like skiing since a young kid. But I never like viewed it as like a first hobby, because I also used to be like a competitive sailor.
Really?
So I just, yeah, so it was like skiing in the winter and sailing in the summer, and also like some sailing in the during the winter, because we did like trips to south. And but yeah, I also like skateboard, so I was kind of like, from skateboarding, started to feel like I have too many like racing hobbies, because I used to be like a sailor also, and then do the ski racing. And then my older cousin used to start doing these like ski videos for this group, and they were like three years older than me. And I just thought like, man, that's so cool, like I just want to be a part of that. And didn't even have any like twin tips, so it's just go to the jumps with my race skis,
Yeah.
and just started like skipping practice and go to the park by like as a secret. And then my dad would ask like, how was the training? And I'm like, yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I used to do the same thing, like at some point going to a hill for a race,
Mm.
but while I was waiting for my run, I would go to the local snow park
Yeah,
and just
yeah,
like
yeah,
do snow park runs, and then oh, okay, it's my turn. Okay, put back the racing skis.
yeah, yeah. And I wasn't too good in the racing stuff. Like I was good at our club, because there wasn't like too many people, but like compared to like what the Finnish level of race ski racing is, I was like always almost the last in every competition. But yeah, but I still liked it. Like it was fun to like. But but it's funny, like when I fully transitioned to like park skiing, I like started mocking like ski racers, like, oh, this is not cool at all, like,
Yeah.
and we're so cool because we're doing tricks. But like now I've realized that it's so good that I started out as a like just getting the feel of like how to turn. I feel like
Hmm.
that's helped me a lot with my skiing. Like if you're landing a little bit sketchy, you know how the edges work, and you can like fix a sketchy landing super easily.
Yeah, and I think it's a great thing to add to your skiing because a lot of what you do needs to have a good basis, technical, a
Mm.
good technical basis where the botters you do, man, it requires you to know how to handle your skis.
Yeah,
If you're not on point, you're gonna get bucked in the features you do. Same things for skiers that go into the backcountry.
yeah, definitely.
You need to have a good basis, or you're not. It's not gonna go well for you.
Yeah, like you can see that from like the older skiers, like Antti, who is like
Yeah.
skiing a lot of powder these days. Like he used to start when he went to the academy. They were practicing like moguls and stuff, like the old school days, like doing moguls, and that was freestyle. So you can really see it from his skiing that he really knows how to like ski, not only like jump on a rail and do switch ups. Like he really loves to ski and go fast, and he can really like handle the ski.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's like admirable.
And now it's time for a first sponsor break. The season is here and Planks Clothing is there for you. Planks is a movement of humans creating change through skiing. Skiing is a mind altering experience. The mountains bring together a community of obsessive riders, roamers, and revelers. Their vision is to build this global community all bound by shared vibes and hooked on riding. Drop 1 and 2 of their 22-23 collection is now online at planksclothing.com. This collection celebrates Manchester, Planks' second home. It's people and its influence on the gear they make. Proper good gear that'll stand up on the harshest mountain conditions and everything else the universe throws at you. Check them out at planksclothing.com. Support companies that support skiing. Support Planks Clothing. Yeah, even for me as a filmer, it helps me so much. Like
Mm.
the follows I do in the park or in the streets, a lot of it is like the racing background where
Yeah, and like getting closer to the skier you're
yeah,
filming when
yeah.
you're not even looking or you're just like feeling it.
So you mentioned that your cousin was the one that hyped you to get into park skiing and filming and all of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, how old are you?
I'm 22, so born in 2000.
Damn. That's a typical question, but I always like to ask it. What was your inspirations or memories of the skiing scene when you were young? Were you out of it? Were you into it? Did you have any like inspirations or movies that you saw that were like, oh shit, I want to get into that?
Like it came maybe a little bit later while like getting into the culture, but like at the beginning it was just like my cousin and his friends who are now like one of my best friends too, like and I used to watch like their videos, and then like my cousin used to show me the OG videos, like the Tom Wallish in Breckenridge and like all those classics. So yeah, maybe maybe those, but I wasn't like a big nerd in like getting to know all the videos and like watching Newschoolers every day. I just was like feeling it on the hill
Yeah.
and skiing with good homies.
So your first part was in 2021,
Yeah.
2021 with Forre for Formula. And what year did you start really skiing park and getting into it?
Ooh, tough question. Because like if you count the like there is this shitty park at the
Yeah. So there's the skiing park with your racing skis,
yeah. So
getting into it. When was the switch that you said like, okay, I'm stopping racing, I'll get into park?
it was maybe 2012. I said I
Okay.
think when I got my first twin tips and really started like diving into it.
Yeah.
I think it could be earlier, it could be later. I'm not certain, but somewhere around then.
Yeah, how was it for you, that transition? I think it's something we rarely talk about, but it's cool to know, knowing like going from, a super good skier right now from where you started as a racer with no
Yeah.
background. Like I did an episode with Megan Oldham recently, and she was telling me like how she got like, she had a figure skating background and a gymnastics background,
Oh
getting
yeah.
into park skiing where, falling on stuff and getting used to falling and maybe being shy getting into the park because you're not good and like everyone around you is good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How was your experience getting into the park, and getting to your level, let's say?
I think like it was a good kickstart to start skiing with like older dudes who had been doing it for a while. And I was like this super probably like pretty annoying enthusiastic kid who just wanted to like be as good as them. So I was like I never felt like uncomfortable on the skis, but like doing all the tricks and getting like doing big airs was like a kind of sketchy start for me. Like I was always a little bit scared of like falling too hard. So, but it was good to start on a hill that wasn't like Ruka. Like we didn't have the biggest jumps or anything. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it was nice to like just get the basics and have like older dudes who know something about the sport and were guiding me always to like push for better.
Yeah, I feel like it helps a lot when you're with dudes that are a lot better, because like when you're beginning, it might, a lot of tricks may look hard or scary, but
Yeah,
being with people who might do a lot harder tricks easily, you're like, okay, it it's not that scary, and if they were doing it, then I guess I can do them also.
yeah, 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 yeah. And it was always also fun because like it wasn't my first sport at the beginning. So I was kind of treating it as a fun joke, or like how your a kid is playing on a sandbox or something. Like
Yeah.
it was just a fun sport where you could do like anything you wanted, kind of just goof around and maybe do a cool trick, or maybe just fall on your ass, and it doesn't really matter. There's no points or no winners or losers. It was just like me against myself.
Yeah, you mentioned doing a lot of sailing.
Yeah.
That has a lot to do with kind of being a team sport, I guess, because when you're sailing, you're not alone, right? You're a team.
No, it's like I was sailing like small boats where I'm sailing on my own, and there's like, but of course we had like clubs and teams and a lot of sailors sailing for one team. But it's like the way I used to sail, it wasn't like an individual sport.
Okay. Because yeah, the image I have is like 5 people on the boat, all like
Yeah,
pulling
yeah,
their
yeah.
own stuff.
Yeah, yeah, never got to that.
That's like the big things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, never did that really. Like I've done a couple of races like that, but it wasn't my main thing.
That's gnarly, man.
Yeah, it's a cool sport really, because it's like, imagine like maybe 70 small boats like doing one course together, and then everyone has to start from the same starting line, and then they just start going like someone said, it's like chess on water, because you have to take, like, look at the clouds, like if there's a darker cloud on the right side of the course, and you have to be on the right side of the starting line to be able to get to the right side first. And if someone is like ahead of you, he's like ruining your wind. So like sometimes there's 30 people going to the same like wind, and you can't go there because there's too many people like blocking your wind. So it's,
And I guess you can use a lot the other boats to help you, or to, like a bit in car racing, some cars go behind another car to get a speed advantage. Is there something like that with the boats?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like you can follow the best one, kind of like, but there's always this like in car racing, you get if you're driving behind someone, it's actually like an advantage, because you
Yeah,
get the, what's it called, like,
the headwind.
yeah. But like in sailing it's different, because the guy who is in front of you is like ruining the wind from you. So yeah.
Yeah, you're getting it in your sail. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
There's a big thing also similar to ski racing, maybe. When like in ski racing, you talk a lot about your line, having the right line to hit the gate perfectly and get on to the next one.
yeah,
And I think there might be something like that with sailing, where
yeah,
you got to know where you're going, and not
yeah.
losing any time going in, like taking too long or taking a turn that's too big, or
And then also it's a lot of technique, like how to pump the sail correctly, but then also like the strategy is like the biggest thing of it, like just to choose the best route to the finish, like the fastest route. Because also the wind is always changing, like a little bit, like it coming from this direction, and then a little bit like couple of degrees from some direction. So sometimes when you're going headwind, you can't be like, you're not going the closest direction to the first mark that you're going, because you have to go like zigzag to the wind. So when it's like changing to the right and you're going to the right, it could be better to go to the left because you're going like closer to the mark. But yeah,
it's so
there's a lot.
intense.
Yeah, there's a lot to it.
Is there any use that you found in street skiing to use that strategic mind, or the sailor thinking?
Yeah, like I think the best thing that I've learned from there is like be patient, because the races take like 1.5 hours to go through one course, and then there's maybe like 4 races per day, and you can be out there on the water for eight hours a day. And I'm like a super hyperactive kid, so it was like the worst for me. Like sometimes I used to get so frustrated, like you get a bad start and you see like 70 people just going ahead of you, and you have to sit there through the race and know that you're going to be the last, and you can't even really fix it, even though
Mm.
what you do, but you just have to like be not the be not to be the last, be the second last.
there's a lot of things that are out of your control that you got to just live with.
Yeah, and also like if you just make a mistake and you're bad, you just have to. You can like really see it in your face, like man, I made a bad mistake, and now I'm gonna lose like 40 bows. But like that's life, and I feel like that's helped me with like if you're filming a hard spot or something and it's a super rough battle, it's just like taking things one hit at a time and
Yeah.
not get too frustrated if I don't land the trick like immediately. I'm just like ready to be there at the spot for like 5 hours and
Yeah.
then maybe eventually get it. And there's been times where like we went to this spot last year and we went there 2 days in a row, and then it was the last day of the trip, and then I ended up not getting the shot. And like I feel like a lot of people would have been like super bummed, but I was like, man, that was good. Like I felt like I was like pushing the limit. Like
Mm.
that was really on the edge of what I can do. So I was like happy about really giving it my all, but then not making it. So I was like, yeah,
Mhm.
that's how it is sometimes.
And now it's time for another sponsor break. I'm stoked to have Dickens Restaurants as a sponsor once again this season. I've been a lifetime fan, so I'm always happy to share the good word. Dickens is a family owned fast food restaurant chain with 12 locations in the Montreal region. They've been famous since 1954 for their great food, especially their flat hamburgers and their spicy sauce. Talking about their sauce, it's been available since last year in many Metro grocery stores all over Quebec. Dickens is my number one fast food spot, so if you come by Montreal, you gotta check it out. Support companies that support skiing, support Dickens restaurants. Yeah, that's a great example of your sailing background where you know that sometimes shit happens and
Yeah,
that's just how it is.
yeah.
And can you give some details on that spot? I'm curious, what was it that didn't make it work? Was it like a technical rail or like something big?
It was like a kink rail that was on top of a bridge. So I railed the railing of the bridge, like flat rail, and then 190 transferred to the kink, and it was like a super.
Like a elbow?
Yeah, not an elbow, just like a closeout, but it was
Okay.
like flat rail and then 90 degrees into a kink. Is
Okay.
that's maybe an elbow? Yeah,
Well, that's how I call it when it like
yeah, 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 yeah,
changes direction.
yeah, yeah. It changed direction, and then it was like a super hard kink that was super steep, and then into like this super long flat rail at the end of the kink, and it was like super gnarly to go into the last flat rail. And I was just struggling with like holding composure after hitting the last flat rail and
Mm.
having to balance like 8 more meters or something after doing all that. And
So like really a challenge rail.
yeah, but I got super close like many times, but like a lot of the times I just like couldn't hold myself upright after hitting the last rail and just fell on my
Mm.
ass like while railing the last part of it.
Right,
So yeah.
getting bucked at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
So did you do some squats this summer to go back again?
Yeah, wish I did. Wish I did, but no, I didn't.
Is it in your plans this winter to go back or?
It would be cool to go back, but we're not really looking forward to going back to Joensuu because like it's a small town and
Hmm.
we filmed so many good shots there. And I feel like there's not too much left to do.
Right. Is it far away?
It's 5 hours from Helsinki.
Yeah, it's kind of a long drive just for one spot.
Yeah, we could maybe like go hit it like on a way to Ruka or something.
Yeah.
That could be possible, but yeah, maybe someday. But
Those are hard when you don't get a shot and you're like, should I go back? Is it worth it to go back?
yeah,
Because from what you're telling me, that must be a sick shot.
yeah, it was like I was hyped to get it, but not too like anxious about it too. There's so many spots you can hit and be happy about, and just leave that one be. But yeah, maybe I gotta go back, show them, show it the place.
Because I think that would be some dope shots to have in a future movie or, however it goes out, but to show like 1 year ago and then you see you get bucked, and then it's like, I'm back for revenge.
Yeah. Oh man, I was so like beat up by the rail. I got like one nasty slam, and I was just like not even walking properly after coming from there. But
Damn. Yeah, there's a lot of bails like that people never see or never know about, like, because that shot you didn't put it in the movie, right?
no, no, we didn't.
So like people would never know.
Yeah.
Like in the movie I just released, MTL, I put a shot of Matt going into a tree. That
Yeah.
like usually I wouldn't post that, but like I felt it needed to be there just to showcase, because that was the first spot of the year, and he got bucked by that tree, and then he had to take like 2 weeks off because like he couldn't walk.
Oh,
And I think that that's a cool setup for a segment to then show that like he got that segment, but that was after the first spot where he got wrecked by a tree. So I think it's a good like
yeah,
balance to
yeah,
show that you don't always win the battle.
yeah. Like when Phil put in his real ski, like well, he got the shot afterwards, so it was super cool. But like he was like telling that it's maybe risky to put like a story into such a small video as like the real ski.
Mm-hmm.
But I really respected it, like him getting a black eye from it and just showing like how rough it was, like hitting the spot and then getting it afterwards. It's like, yeah, I think it's cool when street films and have those like storylines to them.
So let's get into Forre.
Yeah,
Forre is a cool thing right now because I told the same thing to Harold for the episode we did, but you guys are kind of the biggest street crew in the world, I'd say right now, in terms of the hype you're getting and, you know, really the quality also. You guys are putting out really, really good stuff. So
thanks.
big ups on that. But I think it's something cool also that, you know, for a while, let's say the biggest crew was a step, and they
Yeah,
were Americans who, a lot of them were on the competition circuit. A lot of them had, you know, energy drink sponsors. You know, they were
yeah,
big time, quote unquote, like, you know, and you guys are like a new wave where you're a bunch of Finnish guys. As Finland has always been dope in free skiing, but you've always been kind of in your corner a bit, you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and you're all putting out super, super great stuff. But then again, I'm not even sure people all know your names. Like they know
Yeah,
you as the Forre guys,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
you really like have that identity of super good skier doing the best street there is, putting out great movies. But you're like a weird entity, like Yuna posting on Instagram every 3 years, and uh, how did you get into that crew? Because you joined them in 2021 for Formula.
Yeah.
Did you know them beforehand? Did you just hit them up in their DMs? Like, how did that come about?
Like there was this one. I've been in like one park video, like for I did for Arsenic's page, like the Talma video. So I had like a couple of shots there, and like the scene in Finland is so small, so I kind of like always knew them. Like whenever there used to be a ski or die in Ruka, like the whole Finnish skiing scene like gets together, and you like know everyone, but it wasn't like certainly like skiing with them or filming with them, but like we knew each other.
Mhm.
And
Like from crossing paths in the park, I guess.
yeah, yeah, and we were like good friends with Harold, and like the like just before the winter, like we were just out partying or something, and Harold was like man, you should like come film street with us, like it would be super dope, like just go to Ruka preseason and then go from there to a ski like a street trip. And we went to Levi, so it was kind of like because Tuukka, who used to film the older foreign movies, like he went to school and was kind of like quitting skiing, like just focusing on like other things in life. And
Hmm.
it Harold was kind of like feeling like, oh, is there even gonna be another movie or something? But then he was like, let's just go for like one trip, and he invited me and my friend Emil, who also didn't hasn't been on any like projects before that, and we just went there and got like super good shots, and it just all went from there, like with Artu filming and everything, like because it was the first year Artu was filming too, because Tuukka used to film the older ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just kind of happened, and then we got Laurie into the movie and everything. It just fell into place and turned out to be a super good movie.
Yeah, man. Really, really good movie. It's hard to regarding formula, it's hard to imagine better street skiing than that. Like, perfection doesn't exist and there's always ways to make it better, but
Yeah,
every single segment was stacked with bangers.
yeah,
Like Yuna's opening segment got nominated for best street segment. Harold's closing segment was nominated for best street segment, and I think
yeah,
last year it was Alex Hall that won with his video, but Alex is just a beast. But if
yeah,
it wasn't for Alex, I felt like it was definitely one of those two that would win. And then in my mind, you would have deserved a nomination also, and every other guy's Emil also great part from him.
yeah. Really good part.
Um, so yeah, Harold basically motivated you on a drunk night to go film.
Yeah, yeah, kind of.
Was there
Yeah,
a? Did you ever have a will to go in the street, or like did that ever come across your mind?
yeah, yeah.
Because it feels like you were made for that. Watching you ski, like you're not made to go into like half pipe comps. It's like
It,
you're made to go in the
uh,
streets.
don't call it yet. I might go into half pipes this year, but
Do
yeah,
like a all nose butter run.
yeah, probably. Yeah, I really wanted to like film street for like maybe for 2 years before that. I was like, yeah, we should like film some street, and I was just asking the guys, like the crew that I started skiing with, like all of them, like are they like interested? But they were all kind of like into like adult life, already had jobs, and were like, oh no, we're not really into like staying the whole night somewhere cold and getting getting body slams on a rail. Like we just, it's like they didn't have the motivation for it. So I was just like, I would say, yeah, I really had the will to like film street, and I had been thinking about it for a long time and looking at like spots around, and I was kind of ready for it. But it was cool to do it with like with a crew that's so like dialed in to filming street.
Yeah, it's a big part of it is having a crew around you,
Yeah,
having people that are motivated, and a filmer that's motivated. Because there's a lot of spots that can be done in solo missions, like just you and a filmer. But as a whole, it's if you want to get it done, you need a group of friends to get to work with.
yeah, and especially in Finland, like because like everyone is like at this point it's like cool to do only like do only like natural speed spots, but like in Finland you kind of need the winch if you want to film something really cool, because we don't have a lot of hills. So like
Right.
we still have those spots, but like all the cool spots that we hit like almost every one of them need like a winch,
Hmm.
because it's all flat everywhere. It's so hard to get speed for like the type of things we do,
Yeah.
and that needs a crew always to like at least like one person more to hit the winch.
And now it's time for another sponsor break. If you listen to this podcast, you know Axis Board Shop is the dopest shop in skiing. They support athletes, movies, events, and a bunch of other stuff related to skiing and snowboarding. I've been to their shop recently, and they're ready for ski season. They've received all the new skis, boots, outerwear, and every other thing you'll need for this season. So if you're in Quebec, go check out Axis Boutique in Saint-Sauveur, or you can check them out online at axisboutique.ca. Support companies that support skiing. Support Axis Board Shop. We talk a lot these days about street skiers not necessarily getting support.
Yeah,
Um, I think it's something really cool with your crew that you're getting a lot of support. The movie from last year has over 100,000 views, so that's people getting into it. Then you guys released it a bit earlier where people could buy it, and I think you got a good amount of sales that helps you with funding your projects.
Yeah,
But on your personal end, I think something that was cool is it was your first street part, and you were already on the surface team.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you got that support. How did that come about of you joining Surface?
Like that was also uh like Harald recommended me to Jason, like because I don't know, I don't remember how it went, but I think Jason was maybe asking like Harald if there's someone who would like join from Finland because there's many good skiers who would like deserve sponsorship, and he just like asked me. It was my it was actually the same night, like when we were partying. Like it was my 20th birthday, and Harald just came to me like, yeah, let's go film some street. And I'm talking to Jason like, if you want to be part of the surface team, and I'm like, hell yeah, I want to be. Like that's so cool. Like it was like one of the coolest birthday presents, I
Dude,
think.
that's one hell of a birthday.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna film Street. I'm joining Surface.
Yeah.
You wake up the next morning hungover, and you're like, "Shit, was that really a?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
Smiling even though the head is hurting.
yeah. You guys have been really becoming the face of Surface. I feel like you and Harold. He gave you opportunities, but then you guys really rolled with it, and I feel like you're really repping Surface in a great way.
Yeah, I like really like where like what's it becoming, and I feel like there's a lot of good momentum behind the brand, and it's I feel like it's super cool brand to be a part of because it's not necessarily the biggest, but it's like we have so much like support in just doing what we want to do, and like Jason always has our back with like anything, any ideas we present. Like he's just like, yeah, yeah, definitely. Like you guys do you, and he'll try his best to like give us the support we need.
Yeah, same thing on our end. We came to him last fall about MTL with Vince, and he was like, "Yeah, let's go, do your thing, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
stoked to see what you do."
Yeah, he's such a boss.
So after that drunken night, getting on Surface, you got to work, and I'm repeating myself, but again, you made one of my favorite segments of the last year, and I think a big part of how much what made me like it so much was the song.
Oh, you liked
And
it.
yeah,
It's kind of
dude,
like I was having kind of like second guesses about it because it wasn't like the typical
yeah.
street part song, but I
Well,
felt like
that's
it.
what makes it. At some point, you got to stand out, and
Yeah,
your skiing stands out. Your way of approaching features and your spot selection. What I often say to people is, it's not necessarily what you like listening to that fits your skiing.
yeah,
Like you might
true.
listen to the most hardcore rap. That's another subject than what would fit your skiing. Um, and that's a type of song that I would not look into for a segment. But once I was listening to it, I was like, oh shit, I love the vibe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I kind of like felt like it had uh, the feeling of like what it felt like to do those tricks, kind of like
Mm.
because it was my first year of filming street, and like to be honest, I was like so scared on many of the spots because like the way Artu builds the movie, he's like whenever there's a new shot, he just puts it in the final cut, and he has like the movie like building at the same speed as you're getting the shots.
So is every shot in your part kind of in a chronological order?
Almost, yeah. The beginning is like the first shots because it was like in the levy trip and in Kusamo also.
So that wooden down rail where you do three switch ups is your first spot?
Yeah, that's the first spot.
Dude, that's one hell of a way to start.
Yeah, it was so funny too, like because that was maybe the not the only, but there was only two spots we got kicked out of, and that was the first. And we went there and we were hitting it, and it was this like new like exercise stairs they had just built, and this dude who took care of the area came and was like, no, it's gonna get ruined when you ski. Like they had put like some rails on the same hill. Like, why don't you ski those rails that we have put here for you? And we're like, that's not the point. Like if you're filming street, you just want to do something different than the rails that everyone can hit. And he was not having it at all. So we ended up like lying to him that I'm not jumping on the rail. I'm actually jumping over the rail and then just skiing the slope next to it.
That's the classic. You tell them what they want to hear.
Yeah, yeah. And then he backed off, but then I got the shot, but we weren't like super happy about it because I kind of early offed, and then we were like, yeah, let's go back, get it perfect, like the second day. And then it was like the second day, just a couple of, I don't remember how long it took, but it didn't take too long. And then I got it like the first hit. That's like the first clip. I got it perfect. And then we see these like two adults like walking to us, and we're like, oh, well, yeah, someone is kicking us out again, but now we got the clip, so it's all good. And then we just went to them like, yeah, we're leaving. And they're like, no, it's super cool what you're doing. Like,
Oh,
can we like, we have these kids here who would want to see, like, can you like give us a representation of like what you're doing and maybe show one hit like to the kids? And we were like, hell yeah. And then we just had all the kids, like you can see there's a shot in the credits, like where all the kids are sitting in a circle, and me and Harold are telling them like, yeah, this is what we do, like crazy stunts, and you can do it too. And then right after that, like they wanted to see me hit it once, and Harold was like, just do a straight rail so they can like see like you going it through the whole way. And I was like, no, maybe I'll just try to up it one time. And that was actually the first hit after the one landed one where I did the 3 switch ups, like just
damn.
randomly on first try, and had all the kids there like cheering. It was so like crazy rock star start to the street segment.
That's so sick because when you come across adults, they might be stoked, but they still stay low key a bit because
Yeah,
they don't know you. They're gonna. But with kids, it's so genuine. Like, oh my god, that's so
yeah,
sick.
yeah. It was perfect.
Was it like a school playground?
I think there's a school like close to it,
Okay,
but it was just like a common park.
okay. Because yeah, those shots are so cool. Yeah, one like it that I have in mind is Magnus in the.
Yeah,
Is there time for matching socks? Maybe he does a fence flip out, and there's like 100 kids that come to him.
yeah. It was funny because that movie like dropped the same time,
Yeah.
like a little bit earlier, and then I was just watching it, and I was like, damn, Magnus up the clip like times 100. Like he's just on the run out, like all these kids are forming like an
Yeah.
aisle for him, and he's like high-fiving everywhere. It was such a cool clip.
So that was one hell of a spot to start off your season.
Yeah,
Like a banger trick with kids stoked,
yeah, yeah.
winning
It
a
really,
battle. The second clip in your part, I also think is super cool in many sense because it's a hand drag tree coming out of an abandoned house, abandoned building.
oh yeah, true.
But what stands out most to me is always putting my filmer hat on and being like, you know, a lot of times you go out in the streets and you look at stuff and you think, how could that be hit as a street spot? And when I see that shot, I'm always like, the end product is cool, but like, how did he think of hitting that? Like, I would never think of, okay, I'll go in the attic and just like ride through the window.
Yeah, and the attic didn't even have a floor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And it seems like it's in the middle of the woods.
yeah, kind of. It was in like deep Lapland in Levi. we just found a abandoned building and we went like looking. We were just riding around with Harold, like checking places out. And yeah, we just kind of like thought like when we figured out that the skis are long enough that you don't get stuck in the cracks, like it was like, yeah, we were thinking like somebody must hit that. And Harold was just like, if you don't do it, I'm gonna do it. And we're like, all right, I'm gonna do it.
And yeah, your part was really cool because, aside from the trick selection and, all the challenges that there is to film a street part, a big one that is really hard is having a variety of spots. Because if you have a part with only down rails, then
Yeah,
you may do the nicest tricks in the world. It still gets kind of boring. But your part has so much variety of spots. I think that's something that really added to it. Um, how was it to find those spots? Was it like a teamwork of R two having spots in mind? Was there some that you had in your notebook?
yeah, it's like because I've grown up in Helsinki, so I don't know which was the first Helsinki spot I hit, but like, yeah, it was one of those like weird kind of monumental uh, spots that I hit, and then we just figured out with R2 it would be cool to make a part that's like not handrails or stuff like that. It's just like really cool looking spots, like we were calling it as the monument part. And we
Mm-hmm.
just like, I feel like what's the best part about it, it's like they're all pretty much in Helsinki, and like it was the winter, like we had so many spots on that, like the office, uh the abandoned factory, that we had filmed a lot of spots there.
Yeah.
I wasn't really feeling hitting anything there because I had this like monumental part going, and just we wanted to pick the best kind of like most aesthetic spots for that part.
Yeah.
So they're like all in like, not all, but most of them are in Helsinki center. So I like how the part really like represents Helsinki and where I've grown. Yeah.
And that's something I was telling Harold is, to me, there's a lot of spots that I could go and try, like in downtown Montreal, that I wouldn't go to because to me it seems like a waste of time because I know I'll be kicked out and
Yeah.
there's no point to it at that point. Like I don't enjoy like wasting my time. But you guys hit a lot of spots that are in busy places.
Yeah.
And what's the vibe there? You're just people are chill with it.
Yeah, it's like super chill. Like I told you, we got kicked out of the like in like Lapland in middle of a common park. But when you're filming in Helsinki city center, people are like mainly just like, "Whoa, this is like super cool! Like people are skiing here," and they're like. But I also think it's a lot because like the way art sets up a spot, especially when it's dark, you have all these lights everywhere. It kind of looks like it's like we have a permission to do it because it looks kind of professional.
Because in the States, people have been doing this for, close to 10 years, but there's the trend of putting a construction jacket on, like a yellow vest, orange vest,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like pretending you're doing some work. Personally, I don't really like that because I think it attracts the eyes more than
yeah,
anything. Like it puts attention on you. People see the orange vest and they're like, "Oh, they're doing something." I kind of like to be low profile, but
yeah,
um, yeah, it's cool. Harold told me that you guys had permission from an art museum or something, and they were like, "Yeah, yeah, go ahead, send us pictures. We're down."
yeah. It was the glass volcanoes. Like it was because there's been like this skate event called the Hell Ride, and they have had it there like many times, and they skate the glass and everything. So it's like when they were building it, it was built to like not not go broken from like skating or skiing or anything. So yeah, so we got like kicked out there, like a security guard came and like kicked us out, but we were like, there has been like skiers and skaters who have hit this, so why can't we be here? And then she was just like, yeah, they maybe had permission. And we were like, how can we get permission? And then she gave us the number of the museum, and then we called like, yeah, we're skiing here, and they were like just super hyped about it and gave us permission.
I don't know how it was in Finland like 10, 20 years ago, but over here there's definitely a generational shift where younger people who were young back in the days are now older and in a position of power, and they're stoked with that kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's also like the spots I hit, they were like some monuments and not like somebody's backyard and rail on the backyard, because you get
Hmm.
more easily kicked out of stuff like that. But when you're hitting an kind of an art piece or something, it's like, who owns it? Like, who's gonna kick you out for something just that is just standing there? So it's a kind of a gray area. Like, you might get kicked out, but there's nobody that's gonna come like, we own this. Like, no, you don't.
The scenario that I would see in my Quebec life would be like an old person not being down that you're kind of breaking it, quote unquote,
Yeah,
and they call the police. And then since there's a call, the police comes and they're like, yeah, can you stop? But yeah, we had that also this winter, like jibbing statues and monuments. And that's where
yeah,
people don't care. They're passing by and they're like, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's a winch.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. One of my favorite shots, who it doesn't look like it's the hardest spot, but it's definitely a super cool setting and something unusual, is there's kind of an apartment building entrance that's really weird. It's like a greenish ball,
Yeah.
and you hop on the top of the entrance and ride back down. But you see someone is leaving the building at the same time, and he's just like, what's happening? My thoughts rewatching it was that staged, or was that really like someone coming out the building?
I don't know, like, in what light am I gonna paint Artu here, but it was definitely staged
Ah,
because we had the still shot, and
yeah.
you can just like put in stuff.
Well, that's fine because the shot is super dope. But I was like, if that's really not staged, that's the best timing ever.
Yeah, but it was a good like storytelling clip, because it's the the dome was actually the roof for a music university like lunch hall, so people were dining under it, and I was just like banging on the roof, like it must have been so loud under there. And we watched in like the door, and it was just like a whole lot of students just eating and working on their essays or something. So it was a fun part to put in.
But yeah, it's a great thing to add on to give context and give some flavor to the shot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nothing illegal about
No, no,
it.
there's some unwritten rules in street, but this one is
Yeah,
it's a
some
director's choice.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes you have to put some movie magic into it.
One thing that also made me not laugh, but I thought was cool about Finland is roundabouts are way less popular in Canada.
Yeah,
But when we have roundabouts, they're empty. Like there's nothing. And it seems like in Finland, every roundabout is an excuse to make a statue or something.
yeah, 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 definitely, definitely.
How were those spots? Are these that common? Like, is there a monument every corner in Finland at a
Yeah,
roundabout?
it's pretty common. Like, I'd say, yeah, it's a common thing in Finland to use the city's money to get a cool roundabout. Because yeah, but you also get kicked out of those spots easily because it's
Yeah.
like interfering with traffic. But like this,
Did you have a friend kind of managing traffic, like telling cars to wait?
yeah, and we were also hitting them at times where there wasn't a lot of traffic, and not in like Helsinki. It was like up north. Every time we were hitting a roundabout.
Yeah, there's one like right next to a Volvo dealership.
Yeah, yeah, that one. Yeah, it was actually. I wasn't like super hyped about the story while I was hitting it, because this old dude drive past it, and he told us a story that it's like a classic suicide spot for people to like. It's called the Kuusamon axe, like an axe, and there has been like two people that had like just driven into it, and
Damn.
that's why you can see one of the parts is different color than the other one because someone had like just driven into the centerpiece.
Fuck.
And I was like, man, that's not what I want to hear when I'm hearing this. This is the suicide spot.
That's dark.
Yeah, it was super dark.
There's always those encounters where you can get the most joyful, fun encounter, and you can get the darkest person who's like, "Hey, you're gonna kill yourself," and you're like, "Whoa, dude, okay, I didn't need that."
Yeah, like most of the times when there's people coming to us and kicking us out or something, I'm usually super relaxed and just try to like say what they want to hear, so they just bounce and we can continue. But this one time, like this old lady came to my friend Demo and just said like, "I hope you break your neck because this is crazy." And I'm like, man, that's not a thing you say to like a 20-year-old dude who is like healthy and everything. Like, I hope you break his neck. And it was like,
Yeah,
we were just like super mad at her. Like, oh man, just get the fuck up. Like, that's not what we want to hear.
yeah,
Like we know that's not gonna happen. But like, why would you say something like that to someone who is trying something dangerous?
yeah. After that, you just like realize that she's an old bitter lady, but
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
moment, you're like, "Yo, fuck you."
Yeah, yeah, because like in when we were filming Formula, I actually broke my ribs on the green kind of metal tangle thing where I did just like the 180 over it. I don't know if you
Like
remember.
a no stab to tell tap.
No, not that one. It was the I don't know how to explain it, but it was kind of like two metal square bars that went into a tangle.
And you just like write it and do a 180 out.
Yeah,
Yeah, like it's a kind of a monument statue.
yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was actually like just a warm up hit I did because I had a different idea for that spot, and there was this dude who just came like, "Oh, don't break a leg," and I was like, "Mm."
Don't say that. That's as much as we're not how do you say that, superstitious,
Yeah,
you still don't say that.
yeah, and just like a couple of runs after that, I break my ribs and had to take like a 1.5 month off from filming.
Shit.
Yeah,
And what were you trying?
to do like jump from the beginning and then do a small wall ride on the upright thing and then do like a hand plant. I yeah, I kind of got it like one time, but it was a little bit on accident. But like the shot that ended up being in the part, I wasn't like super stoked about because it was kind of like a warm up.
Yeah, well, that's always the difference between being at the spot and not being at the spot, because the shot is cool. As someone who wasn't there, I see it and that shot is cool, but it's always harder as a writer because you know what you wanted to try and you know that it's not what you wanted.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I was still happy about it. The spot was so cool that it was more of the spot than the trick.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I like. Why I'm so happy about the shots I have in this new movie is because I felt like when we were filming Formula, we paid so much attention to picking the most aesthetic spots, and I feel like a lot of the times I didn't get the chance to like showcase in like what tricks I can do, even though
Hmm.
they were good as well. But like in this new movie, I really like went all out and just tried to do like the best tricks I can do, and still always like focus on getting cool spots. But I felt like I got so much better tricks on the new movie than compared to the other one.
Yeah. Well, you're right that most of your part was the cool thing about the spot was not necessarily your trick, but the spot itself.
Yeah, yeah,
But again, that's a super cool thing because the more the years go by, the more some spots are played out, and sometimes seeing a certain spot for the 100th time is not that nice. But it was cool because a lot of your spots were never seen before,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and also every one of these monuments you were hitting differently. So it's not as if you were always doing the same trick.
Yeah. Of course, like tried to do the best trick possible, but this like many of the spots were so weird that there wasn't like too much wiggle room to like think of like other tricks. Like some spots were like there was maybe 3 tricks I got in mind that would work. So the spots that I filmed for cast had like more room to express myself, I think.
There's 3 shots I think that stood out that we haven't talked about. Um, you have a disaster to on to backslide to switch, which,
Yeah.
talking to a lot of people, they didn't really notice it or it wasn't really a standout to them. But to me, that's a super dope shot because
Oh,
it's something
thanks.
that's never been done, or if it's been done, not really, because it's a super specific technical trick.
Yeah.
And yeah, how hard was that to get? Disaster to on to backslide and bringing it back. That's tech.
Yeah, it was like kind of a battle, but I have done that trick like many times in park, so I kind of knew I like got it. So it wasn't too long, but it was still like a battle because it was hard to get. I had a problem with like staying on the rail because the first down rail is like pointing to an other direction than the last part where I was disastering to. So I was kind of like dropping off the tails every time. And you can even see in that spot, like I was kind of not struggling, but it was like more on the tails than on the noses. Like,
Yeah.
and also when we're, we were having a little bit like problems with the speed because it was like so late in the winter and the snow was super slushy. So I had to pop like a lot into the rail. So it's hard to maintain the backslide when you're like dropping so high into the rail. But yeah, I think it came out pretty good. But maybe also why people didn't realize it is like because it was so hard to hold the back foot like super high. So like I think a lot of people didn't realize it was actually a backslide. Like a lot of people like maybe just thought it was too into fakey.
No, no, you got to know your stuff. But so that was a trick you like doing in the park. Was that something that you had in your mind all season, like wanting to do that trick and looking for a spot to do it?
mm, Not really, not really.
It was more on the spot, like looking at the rail and being like, what can I do there?
Yeah. I just knew I wanted to hit that rail at some point because like I think Will Wesson has hit that rail in some like level 1 movie. Like he did a line like he railed upwards and there's like a kink before that and then went into it and did like a switch 2 into it. So like knowing that he had done it in a line, so we it was so late in the winter we couldn't really hit it on the line and get the snow there like up there on the cliff. Like there's so little snow and we just had to make this path for the in run. You can see it there, like it's just a super narrow path that I went into it. So I knew I had to kind of do like a special trick since it was only the
Right.
disaster. Yeah.
Yeah, there's always so many challenges that you try to showcase to put people in context, but that it's hard to give the full context because there's so many details that influence a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, talking about that, you have a really long down rail, C down rail,
Yeah.
that you just grease a super steezy, like laying back on the rail.
Yeah.
And that's something I love in the editing choices where you just don't like, you don't show the landing and cut off to a next rail. We see you take some time to show you running to your car to grab, what is it, a bottle of wine?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the story behind that? I think it's just funny, like you're running in the streets taking a bottle of wine and you start chugging it.
like
What's the story behind that shot?
like my mom gave me that bottle like yeah, you could like have a nice time with your girlfriend and drink the wine and have a nice dinner. And I just was like, yeah, thank you. And just had it randomly in my car. Like maybe I was there just the day before or something. And it was just there in the car. And like in the middle of hitting the rail, I realized like car is there, like pretty close to the landing. So I was like, oh man, like these like ski parts, they need more like emotes and like football players do. Like when they land something or they get a goal or something, they always celebrate. So I
Yeah,
thought it would be like a cool thing to add, like have a wine bottle in the landing. It was just fun and games, and also because that I think that was the most I was most hyped about that rail because it's like super close to where I used to grow up. So me and my dad always used to go jogging or biking next to it, and even before I knew anything about skateboarding or skiing that you could even do that, I just knew like if you could like write that in some way, it would be so cool. And just had it, that was like the one of the spots that I had in mind like the whole winter, like man, that's gonna be a challenge, but it would be so cool.
that's a cool story.
Hmm.
Like those spots that you know from your childhood, and you're like, oh shit, yeah, I guess I could go and hit that.
And it was so cool that because I was like we had a good winter in Helsinki, and we could like hit it like when it was like proper snow and there was snow on the driveway, but it looked so sketchy when it was like the end of the summer, no, the end of the winter, and and there's no snow. And I just had like, if you've seen the raw cut, there were so many hits. I just slid through the road, and there was cars coming like next to it. So I think it added to the shot a lot that it was like so little snow.
Yeah, there's definitely some spots that you want to time yourself to go at the right time during the winter.
Yeah, yeah,
Like some spots that your disaster to Sauvignon to backslide.
yeah,
I think that's a great shot for spring skiing because maybe if there's a lot of snow, that rail is not that big. Maybe if there's a lot of snow, it just looks small. But with the spring
yeah,
look, it was perfect.
yeah. And also because you have the ocean like
Hmm.
behind it, like it's so cool to see like ocean that is not fully in ice. Like all those kind of things we try to think through. Like in this new movie, also, if you've seen the rowing shot, like where we go on the rowing boat.
Yeah, you're kind of canoeing.
Yeah, yeah. That was a crazy story too. Like there's a lot of these things we try to like plan out, like what would look the coolest. Like, are we gonna film them during the night or during the day, or what kind of day it's gonna be when we film this? And we always try to like pick the best like conditions for a certain spot.
Yeah, and I think that's something that really shows when you're looking at your movies,
Hmm.
that there's a lot of attention to details,
Yeah,
and it shows in the final product.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we try to pay attention to the small things, and especially like because Artu is the director and everything, and he's like super professional about all the lighting and stuff. So he's like, it's usually like if it becomes dark or something, like even though you could kind of still hit a spot, we usually like ditch a spot, like let's go another day. Like
Hmm.
you could get it and you could see it in the video, but it's so much better if we just go another day and it's going to be better light. And
I really appreciate that,
yeah,
seeing that attention and taking the time to make sure everything is good.
yeah,
That's how you build parts that people remember, in my opinion.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And also like what I liked about the new movies, because we don't have parts, so we get to do the the part that is only filmed during during the night,
Yeah.
because it looks so good when you have a whole part dedicated to like one type of weather. Like that was the joke about like the name Cast, because we knew we were filming a movie that didn't have parts, so we knew we kind of had to put them like into one feeling. Or like we had a part where there was this Finnish song and it was like super sunny. So we were kind of joking like, yeah, the movie is gonna be Forre Cast. And Harold was like, hell no, we're not doing another movie that's starting with four. And then I was just like staying up at like night, and I was like, man, that's such a good idea. Like, okay, what if we just call it Cast? Because cast has so many meanings in like Finnish, which kind of relate to skiing. Like cast is like actors, and we're kind of actors, and cast a spell. We're like casting spells on the rails, and there was like I think I have it in my phone. Like there's so many, and then the next day I was just like convincing uh everyone like, okay, let's name it cast, and then like everyone was on board like, yeah, cast is a pretty cool name for a movie. And then after that I just hit like the wooden leg joke, like, and then we can have like Forre presents cast and take the present out and just put it for a cast. And Harold was like, no, it's only cast.
We got to talk about your closing shot in your Formula segment. I remember I was judging for the Newschoolers Awards,
Yeah.
and along every awards there was one that was, hard to choose, which was the best trick, because there's so many good tricks in every movie that, you know you really gotta look for one that stands out, that
Yeah.
has the wow factor, kind of. And if I remember correctly, I'm the one who, like every judge was on their own watching the movies and taking notes of, do they have one suggestion for the best trick, and then you bring it up and we choose as a group like which one would go in there. And I brought it up like, yo, rewatch that movie, that shot, that's insane.
Oh man.
Yeah, we ended up choosing like maybe 10 tricks, something like that, and then it was a public vote on Newschoolers, and you won the trick of the year with that trick.
Oh, that's so cool. I didn't even know that, man.
There's a I see that trick, as you know, in free skiing there's a lot of times people do nose presses or tail presses, and we call them tail presses, but it's not on the tails at all.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same thing with butters, where sometimes people do butters, but it's like a minimal butter. But
Yeah.
that shot is insane, how you're on the tips of your nose, flexing all the way, and there's no loss of control. You stay like composed the whole way. Man, that's a sick shot.
And the funny thing about it, it was like maybe the easiest shot to get out of the
Really?
all of the tricks we did that winter, because I just knew I wanted to hit that spot because I like like to do butters, and I think it was a perfect spot to do some kind of a butter.
Yeah.
But it was like, yeah, I think Arto counted it. It was 5 tries when we got that. And
Really?
yeah, and it was just like I didn't even have in mind like in what kind of a butter I would do there. Like I was maybe trying to do a 360 and not even do the whole wall or anything, but I was kind of like just getting the warm up runs in. And I was also like, you can see it in the shot, I was like almost putting my hand down, because I was like thinking I would maybe like put one hand down and then spin off the 360 or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just like went into the butter and then was kind of trying to put the hand down, but there was like maybe a little bit of ice or something that popped me out of it again. And then I just like realized on the go, like, yeah, maybe I just like stay up and see where it goes. And it just like stayed the whole way. And then I landed it, and you can see it from the shot where I just turned to Arthur and we were like both like, okay.
That was it.
Yeah, maybe that was it. And then we just closed the session and like, yeah, no point in like trying anything else. That just went like so nicely.
Yeah, and the last maybe third of the trick, you're really on the last tip of your nose.
Yeah.
That's so sick. Like, again, referring to tail presses, like, you can't be more buttery than that. If you're a bit more, you're just falling on your face.
Yeah. And the crazy part about it, like when I was coming to the spot, I thought it was gonna be like a little bit snow on the wall, but it was like all like there was a little bit of ice or something, but it was like pretty like clean. You could see the rock like through it, and I was like, I've never done a nose butter on a rock. Like, how is this gonna go?
Right.
But then just trying it out a couple of times, and there was like a little bit of ice on it. I think you can see like one part of the nose putter that there's no ice, so it kind of like for a millisecond it like slips out, and I kind of do like a little bounce on it. So I don't know how it would have went if there wasn't a little bit of ice on it. So it was kind of like good luck and good like just trying it, and it all just worked out like super nicely, and I'm so happy about the shot.
Yeah, it's a super dope shot, and you're right. We see when it changes from ice to rock that
Yeah, a little bit like a small but
your
yeah,
skis are kind of adapting.
yeah, but then it goes back to ice like super quickly. And like maybe if it was like it would have I would have had to like approach it very differently if there wasn't ice at all,
Yeah,
because I don't know how your skis slide on just pure rock the whole way.
that was one hell of a first segment.
Thank you.
Uh,
I'm pretty proud of it.
complete like just completing a full segment is always a challenge. Like people may not realize it, but getting those 15 shots around, a segment is always in around 15 shots,
Yeah.
um, is a challenge in itself. And then you pulled off something really unique with a lot of spot variety. You won Trick of the Year, which is a big against people like LJ Strenio and his wall ride clip and other stuff.
Yeah. Or the crypto one where he did that like
Yeah,
crazy rail that you're either gonna land or then you're gonna die.
yeah. What was your stance like at the same time last year, going into another year? Were you putting pressure on your hand, or were you just motivated to go back?
Like I was feeling pretty good about my skiing. Like yeah, I'm just happy to go back at it. But then again, like I said, like we had paid so much attention to just picking a cool spot, so I kind of knew like this is gonna be the year that I just go go ham and try to do like everything I'm capable of, and try to like surprise myself with like what I can do on skis and in the street. So maybe I was feeling, compared to like how I'm feeling now, a little bit of like pressure to like show that I'm not this like only a gibber and do like cool things, but like do like kind of smaller things. So I was maybe feeling like, yeah, this is the year I gotta like really showcase like my skiing. And
Do some technical stuff as well as creative.
yeah, but not like pressure in a good sense, like
Hmm.
it's feeling good, like yeah.
Stoked to go at it again.
Yeah.
That's sick. Yeah, because I don't know if we mentioned it or if we talked about it before, but the movie has no writer segment. It's just like everyone mixed in all the way through, which makes for a really dope movie. But um, as I told you before, I wish I could see a cut of all your shots together, because I think if you'd put them together, you kind of one upped yourself from last year. There's so many good shots you've had this year.
Yeah, but I don't know, I love how the movie is put out like this year, and I feel like a lot of the tricks wouldn't have come if I was filming for like a part, because it was kind of relaxing to film for a movie that's not, you're not only like thinking about your part, you're just, there's these different parts where it's a different feeling. And
Yeah.
a lot of the shots that were like smaller and kind of like just jibs, I did because I knew we had this part, it was like all sunny and we had the Finnish song.
Yeah, you all knew beforehand that it was gonna be that vibe for the movie.
Yeah.
And how did that come about? Was that like a group discussion? Did it come naturally?
Like even when we were filming for Formula, that was something Artu wanted to do, because he felt like it was like it's a better way to build a movie. Like if you want to do it like cinematically and get those types of different feelings to a part, than just like having an individual part for everyone, and then everyone picks their favorite song, and it's not necessarily compared to like what kind of other songs are going to be in the video. It's just like this is a part, and then black screen and then another banger part and then another banger part. So I kind of like the new movie more because it has like a beginning and an end.
Yeah, it really flows all the way through.
Yeah, I feel it's like a more mature like combination
Yeah.
of parts.
Who's the soundtrack director? Is it R2 that comes up with all those songs, or is it a group, kind of a group project? Everyone is pitching in ideas.
It's like I'd say it was mainly R2, but we had a Spotify playlist where everyone could kind of like put songs in, but at the end it was like R2 who was doing the project and he knew what would fit, so he did the choices. But there was like one time when R2 had he went to like a fashion show, like a runway show, and there was this like artist playing there, and he just sent me a WhatsApp like, "This is a cool artist, like we should get some song from there." And I was just like looking through the albums and was like, "Oh, maybe this one that would be cool."
Yeah.
And then we, in that sense, kind of made it together, but like mainly R2. But I like one song I just picked out because everyone was like, "We needed one rap song," and I was like, okay, like R2 is not super keen on like just he who wants like he has this like his own view. Like you can go watch like some of R2's like he does skate movies with this one group during summers, and there you can really see like what's like R2's vision, like this super like I don't know, like he wants to just have like beautiful songs that are matched well with his filming.
Hmm.
So he's not like super keen on like rap music and stuff like that. Of course, like if we're filming a park edit or something, he just wants to go like rap banger edit sometimes. But I would say he's not like a super big like rap head.
Hmm.
So the Freddie Gibbs song that's in the beginning, like that was just something I picked out. Like if we gotta have a rap song, it could be like this one. It fits in well with the other songs. And
Yeah, it's a great intro song. It puts you in the mood for some bangers.
yeah, like the same vibe that was in Formula, like with Jonas part, like start with the banger song and
Yeah.
banger shots. Yeah, it worked out well.
Yeah, and another one that felt original to me, like special, is the weekend song
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
where I wasn't expecting to hear the weekend in a street part in a
Yeah,
Finland movie, but it was sick.
yeah, it worked out.
Yeah.
Like especially because it's the part where it's all dark, and weekend is like kind of this like sex lights, like kind of you can vision it well in the dark part
Yeah.
instead of having something like super like grungy or something. You have a like this kind of pop song that and it was also funny because that was when we were filming most of the shots that were in the dark part. We were in Joensuu at the beginning of the season, and that was the time that Weekend dropped that album, and we were just listening to it like, man, there's some good shots, good songs here. Like we should pick something. So it was one of the songs we picked the earliest.
And sometimes personally I would shy away from an artist like that because it's too
Yeah,
mainstream.
yeah. That was what we were worried about.
Like sometimes there's something about an artist being too big, but it's good that you still did it because it fits super well with the night part.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we were kind of worried about that, like, because nowadays, like, every like big artist, good song is gonna get ruined by TikTok like immediately. But I feel like that song you can still hear it from the radio a bunch, but it wasn't like at any point like a super trendy like song where people are sipping margaritas on the beach or something. So it was still kind of unique, even though it's a big song that everybody knows.
Yeah, I was talking about you stepping up your tricks. I think your part is super well rounded. You have some technical shots like a disaster 450 on. You have some creative shots, some, you have a night follow shot with R2 where you're just like jibbing a couple stuff,
Yeah,
going
yeah,
through
yeah.
a crack between rocks. That's super creative as a shot.
Yeah, that was like artist choice We were laughing about it. It's like the only trick Arthur did
Yeah.
because he really did the spot. Yeah,
Yeah, he's actually doing the drop as well.
it was so cool.
And then you have also a lot of big stuff. Again, just like in Formula, in busy places, but some wall rides, some, I don't know if you call it a wall ride when you're just dropping down it, but
Yeah, and maybe more of a like a bank because it
yeah,
was.
some
Yeah, yeah.
banks, some wall rides that are humongous. How were those? Do you have any special ones in mind that were hard to get or were maybe scary?
The one flare I did from the same spot
Yeah,
as Annie did, like the one where I did the nose butter
yeah.
revert thing. It was maybe yeah, that was kind of scary because I knew I can do that trick because we have a wall ride in our home resort, and I've done that like flare out of the wall ride many times.
Hmm.
But then the conditions were super bad. We were filming it for 2 days, and it's kind of the in run is in this tunnel, and it was headwinds, and I had to like pump the winch to the maximum, like pull the rope all the way out, and then like at the end just pull the rope so I could get speed enough because I maybe built the kicker a little bit too far from where I had to land,
Yeah,
and the problem was because it was the point where I was taking out was kind of like further out from the landing. So I built it so far, so it was super hard to get high on the like the second wall I was landing in. So you can see like I land just at the edge of the on the landing. So that was kind of like I knew I had that trick and I can do a flare from a wall, but I was kind of like ambitious to build a kicker so far away. I just wanted to go big, and that was kind of like, oh man, do I even want to do this? But yeah,
but that makes the shot.
yeah. After being there for 2 days,
Yeah, that took 2 days.
yeah, yeah. And but that was also because we were filming so many shots on that same like spot, so it was kind of like figuring out the best time, and the in run was like next to this mall uh, exit. So we had a little spat with the security as well. Had to call the manager of the mall if it's okay. But luckily we had Anni there, so I could say in the phone like, "Hey, we have an Olympic athlete here doing this spot. So what's up? Like your security guards are kind of harassing us right now." And she was like just super hyped again, like, yeah, this is really cool. Oh, Olympic athlete. Oh, definitely. If you want to do something more, just like tell us next
Wow.
time. Yeah.
Damn, that's cool. Yeah, I don't know if it's that big or if it's just a fisheye, but it looks like you're going to the moon.
Yeah. Yeah. Like maybe both.
Yeah, that's the filming helping with the skier. That's the great mix.
Yeah. It felt kind of a hassle to like afterwards, like thinking I would like want to build the in run maybe a little bit smaller, but like I'm happy I got it like and the story behind it that it was such a hard time getting the speed for it, and I ruined one skis in the in run too, and then just getting it I was like super happy too, and it looks so good on the fisheye, like just going against the sky. Yeah,
And there's another shot in that same feature where you drop from the top, do kind of a nose drag, bank down the wall, and then revert to 180.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dude, what that shot is so sick. When I see that, I see like Mike Hornbeck reincarnated.
Thanks, man. Yeah, yeah, that was a funny one, kind of like after everyone had hit it already, I was just feeling GB and just wanted to do something. I was maybe like going for a long nose putter as we just discussed about the, but it was so like
Super steep.
yeah, super steep, and I just don't want to fell on my side. So I was kind of like it was hard to think to go the whole way through, but the revert thing kind of worked out super nicely, even though it wasn't the original idea, but it came out super good.
And it's cool because it's something that we don't see really anymore, those kind of shuffles. And I think when done when done perfectly, is so stylish.
Nice. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. The thing was, because I wasn't thinking about doing a shuffle, but it was kind of because of the first runs, I was just trying to hold the nose butter, but then fell to forward. And I was just like feeling it like, because it wouldn't have been as nice if I just did a little bit of nose butter and then went to forward and then just ride it as forward.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of because my body was like bent already, so just
Yeah, it comes
a small
naturally.
shuffle. Yeah, it came naturally, and then Arthur was like, wasn't even filming the first run. I was just like shredding it, and and then Arthur saw it and was like, "Man, that's a good shot. Like, we gotta film that." And he was like, just drinking coffee and eating at the at the mall, and he saw it from the window and was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is a shot we have to get." And it worked out so nicely too, because we have the shot where me and Annie are just watching this commercial this Formula One driver Kimi Räikkönen did with some brand, and we were like laughing, and Arto was randomly filming us like laughing at this commercial. And then at the edit, it worked out so well that Annie did the spot, and then we have the shot where me and Annie are laughing at some video on the internet, and then I do the same spot afterwards. So it worked out so nicely.
It looks like a lot of statues or monuments, however you want to call them, that you hit are like made for skiing. The way you use them.
Yeah,
Um, the guy in Vishnu, is it Emil?
Emil. Yeah,
Yeah.
Emil.
There's a shot of you and Emil doing a. It looks like a big rock, but you use it as a jump. He does a end drag cork 7, and you do a like kind of wall ride to cork 5 to tail tap on a lamppost. That's so G.
Yeah,
Dude, that's big stuff. Like again, talking about you showing that you can do tech stuff. That's like a mix. That's a shot. I think that's a mix of everything. You're going big. It's tech, but it's also super creative.
thanks, man.
Was that a hard battle? This one?
uh, like the thing was like it was the first spot we filmed for the whole movie. Like we
Really?
went there, yeah, the day before, and I was just like, because uh, the Rinnekangas Sugar Red had
Yeah.
just come out, and he, I don't know if it was in that. No, it maybe wasn't in that movie where he like tail tapped a lamppost or something, but like I was thinking like the lamppost has to be a part of the shot because it's so like mid-air close to it, like it just has to be a part of it. So I was thinking about doing like a 360 hand drag something out of it, and then Artu was just there because we were building it the day before and we knew we had to hit it like the next day. And
Mm-hmm.
Artu was like, no, like fuck that, you have to go like the same style as Rene did. And I'm like, man, this is the first spot. Like, it sounds crazy to do like a cork 5 something, like do a flip, even though I haven't even done a flip at Ruka preseason.
A detail that people might miss, but if you look closely, you didn't put any landing. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
you land on a you land on a downwards hill, but
yeah,
you didn't put any extra snow. Like you're really landing on
yeah. But
the
it was
hill.
cool. It was powder, like which is super rare.
There's like 10
Super.
centimeters.
But yeah, yeah, true. But
But that's a dope first shot for the year. Again, a lot of times you're hyped to get back on it and you're stoked for the first snow, but you still need to get back on your skis, get a couple days in.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because again, like I've done a flare out of a wall in our home resort so many times. So
Mhm.
when I started hitting the spot, I went in and started doing the 360, and it was feeling like quite easy to do. So I was like, maybe I can try to do a flip and not even think about the post and
Yeah.
just do a small flip to the snow. So that didn't feel scary at all, and it felt like supernatural. And I actually flew super close to the post, and I just saw it like, yeah, this is something I can do, and then just started shredding it, and it came out super good. It felt more natural than you would think of, like the lining of the wall and the posts were so good that you didn't even have to pop, and you could like kind of see the post the whole way, because I kind of do not like the most regular kind of cork 5. It's kind of a loop, and then you can see the post ahead of you and just turning your body and then just putting the tails out and hit it well.
Yeah.
And it's so cool that Emil did it afterwards. He hadn't even jumped that season, and he was like, yeah, maybe I'll do some cork action as well and get
Yeah.
like those kind of shots for the first spot of the season. It really set the way for the whole year.
Yeah, that's a great way to start off the season.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
it looks like there's so many shots in your movies that have stories behind it. Like I talked with Harold about the shot where he jumps into the river,
Yeah,
and the whole story behind that. And yeah, the whole, there was a big story there. Um,
yeah,
on your end, also, there's a shots where you look. We talked a bit about it, where you're kind of canoeing to get to the spot.
yeah,
Um, there's some other ones. Yeah, there's a shot where you do a lip on back two with Dan at the spot.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, tell me, is there any special stories of tricks or spots from last year that you want to share?
The rowing boat story was super fun, because that's like a island close to Helsinki that I've spent like many times with my great aunt. We went there to like paint, and had just been hanging around there and tenting uh, a lot of the times. And I noticed the sauna that's built by this like super respected architect, Alvar Aalto, who has like built so many cool spots that we have also filmed in both of the movies. So I was like, man, that would be a cool spot to hit. But how are you gonna get there? Because it's like on an island where you don't have a ferry,
Mm,
and when it's ice out, there's like big boats go through it, so the ice is broken, so you can't walk through the ice to the island. So then I realized like, oh, maybe just hit it in the spring when you can like get a boat of your own and go over the water. So, but it was like, who has a boat that early during the spring? Like nobody. Then I realized my grandpa has a rowing boat, like that's 50 kilometers from Helsinki at his place at a lake. So me and Artu and Harald went to my grandpa's place, and we got the rowing boat uh, from the lake and had to pull it up like this 300-meter hill that's like super steep. Had to pull it up and then put it on a trailer, and then we all went and had a dinner with my grandparents and just were eating a steak and having a good time. And then the next day we pulled the trailer to the shore and then took all the things we need and just rode to the island.
that's sick, and it makes for, again, talking about shots to go with the bangers.
Yeah,
It adds so much. I feel like it to the whole movie.
yeah, definitely. It's kind of like a super finished thing to do. Also, I, I I think it goes well with the intro that is filmed just on a summer cottage, where Harald is like sitting on a rowing boat and they're going to a sauna, and it has this like, and then when it's in the part that's like this classic Finnish like rock band, Levi and the Leavings, and then you have those kind of shots. It's just fitting perfectly there.
Yeah, and I think a big thing that stands out to me is, for a while with Cruise, and again, Stepped is an easy example, but it was the best one. Is there was a lot of attention put to the final product on showing how hard Street is and how
Mm.
mentally hard it is and all of that. And with you guys, it just seems like it's the best time ever.
Yeah,
Like, we see it and you think, like, because street skiing is hard and it's hard on the body and it's hard mentally, but when we see your movies, you're like, oh, it seems like the best time ever.
yeah. I think
Like, you see that you guys are actually a group of friends and you're actually enjoying yourself, or at least it seems like you're enjoying yourselves.
yeah. We pay a lot of attention to like. So it seems that we're enjoying ourselves, because actually it's hell. No, no, no. But yeah, I think it's like a cool thing to do those projects in that way. Like, of course, there's like hardship and it's tough at times, but like, I don't know, like maybe just leave it to the viewers to think how hard it is instead of like putting emphasis on like you didn't know, like we had to like of course we could have made a documentary only about like how we get the boat there, but instead of just like putting the cool shot where we row the boat in the sunset, like that's like, now I can tell the story here instead of like making the whole project about like, oh, this is so tough, like that's not the vibe we kind of want to present to people. It's more like, yeah, this, because this is awesome, even though it's sometimes it's hard and it's hard work to do these projects, but
Yeah,
that's not the vibe I would want to like put out to people, because it's also the best thing ever.
that's well said. I think something cool in the same way was I did an episode with Payban 2 years ago, and he was explaining Alex Ackles' intro shot. I don't know if you remember. They were getting towed by a car.
Yeah, I know that one.
The shot went from being inside the car to being a follow cam, and everyone
Yeah,
was like, "How did they do that?"
yeah.
And it was cool because
They did
like
it super nicely.
he explained like the whole thing, and it's something that would have been weird in the video, but like him explaining was really nice to hear, like how Magnus was holding it in the car, and Payben was being towed on the side, and then he was giving the camera to Payben.
Oh man,
But that's
that's I hadn't even heard that. Sorry,
yeah,
I thought they cut it in some like,
no, that's the thing. People were wondering, was there a cut? Is there was, but there was no cut.
yeah, because you can kind of see like the moment when
Yeah,
like
there's a bit of the
Fabian
wobble.
grabs, yeah, just a super tiny, because I thought that was the cut, but then again I was thinking like, how could you get the cut at the same time as you were writing, like do it like yeah, it was so
So
cool.
basically, he had kind of a gimbal. Magnus was holding it, and then at some point he passes it to Payben, who lets go of the car and does the follow. But that whole timing is so intense.
Yeah, it's a and such a good real ski in like, and I respect the song choice as well. Like in a song, in the same way I chose the song for Formula. It's like super calm but like
Hmm.
emotionally filled song. It's something like I would want to see more in street skiing. Like, of course, you can make those banger rap parts, but it's so cool when someone has a different view of how you're gonna present the clips.
I agree. And a lot of time, the challenge is as a filmer, the challenge is to convince the writer. The writer
Yeah,
wants the rap song, and you're like, but I'm telling you, it could be good with another kind. They're like, but I'm
and
really
I get it. I get it. Like I want to get those rap songs too. Like, of course, like it fits in well with like it works with skiing definitely, but it I feel like when you're kind of like thinking outside of that, you make maybe something more timeless.
yeah. It's a choice that's less risky. You know,
Yeah,
it's a safe choice. Let's say.
yeah. Yeah, well put.
To end off the podcast, I have a couple questions from people on Patreon. To start off, I like this one. Raf Diaz asks, "Do you have any tips for nose presses and nose butters?
Yeah, uh,
Like, do you think the ski influences it a lot? Like, because I'm switching questions at the same time, but in the surface lineup, I think you use the upper.
yeah,
That's a really soft ski. Do you think that plays a big role?
yeah. I think because when I started doing nose butters, I used to ride like the Armada B dogs, and that's like a super soft ski. So it was easy to learn that trick on those skis because it's like super soft, and like at the beginning when you're doing like tail presses or nose presses, it kind of hurts
Hmm.
your feet to do it. And if you have like super tough boots and super like stiff skis, it's hard to do it. But like nowadays I ride with like a ski racing boot, a super tight boot, and and like, yeah, the upper is like flexible, but it's not the flexi ski as you would think. Once you get like better at it, it's it's like actually better to have a little bit like structure in the ski, because like the shots, like the ender of Formula, it's actually filmed on the giver, which is
Right.
like less softer than the upper, but it still worked out super nicely, because you wouldn't actually want the softest ski.
Because then you're just gonna bend it in two.
Yeah, and like when you know how to put pressure on the noses, it's more stable, and it's better for like getting the edges in, when it's not like just you're flipping on your head whenever you're like putting too much pressure on it. So
So going back to Raf's question, how do you put pressure on the noses? Any tips?
like the easy way to start off is just like do a 180 revert, and then, because it's easier to just, when you're on the whole 180, like to put pressure on like the uphill, and then get those skis to bend. So that's maybe how I started, but it's fun to just like try it out in different terrains, and do it on different angles, and just try to understand how the ski acts when you put much pressure on it, and just, yeah, just do them a lot, and try to figure out what's the right angle to put your upper body weight on, and see how the ski acts, and just do them a lot, get those reps in, and that's how you get better at it. Like there's not a single secret to it, just like just do it as much as you can. It's a fun trick because it's so like abstract. You can do it on many surfaces and many angles, and yeah.
Another question from Laurent Olivier Martin. He asked, do you have any street cheat codes that you learned along the way that you want to share with the youth?
Yeah, maybe because the biggest part is like to keep your head clear once you're hitting something that's difficult, and there's a risk of getting kicked out. It's
Mhm.
just like try to cancel all that noise out, and just, because for me it was at the beginning like, oh, like thinking like, maybe, oh, sorry that this is taking a while or something. Just like respect your crew, like they're there for you, and just like try your best and have fun with it. And because I realized the shots where I'm anxious, you can see it afterwards, like your body language
Mhm.
is anxious. So just try to enjoy the moment, and don't worry about getting kicked out. Just take it like one try at a time. Don't think about like, oh, is this gonna be the trick of the year or anything. Just try to enjoy every moment you're there, and and ski your best, of course. But don't worry about if you don't get it. Like your crew is gonna be like just happy that you're doing something else than like getting drunk at some weird party. Just like be there, and enjoy.
And I think that's a great point, what you just said about being anxious.
Yeah,
It's something that I've noticed a lot recently in competitions where I think it shows a lot. You see a big difference. You see when someone is anxious during his run.
yeah,
You see
definitely.
how stiff he is. Like, let's say he's doing a 450 on Pretz 2. He could do it a lot smoother, but right now he's stressed out and he's
Yeah,
stiff.
yeah,
Yeah. And you see the
yeah,
difference between one run to another, like someone who's like relaxed and someone who isn't.
yeah. And bringing it back to the street is like, because there's so many things that could go wrong, and you could get kicked out, and the light not make, like the filming might go wrong or not. Well, not with us because we have R2, but but like try not to worry about like the factors that are like making you anxious. Just, it's skiing as always. Like enjoy the moment, and that will like represent your skiing the best when you're actually enjoying it, and try to like don't do spots that don't feel good to you. Like do it the way you want to do it, then like you can do literally anything out there. Like just try to find out the way that's like the way you want to see skiing.
Yeah. And I think you guys are a great example of that. Of street skiing can be seen as pretty limiting if you
Yeah,
only see down rails and flat rails. But
yeah,
you guys have such a variety of types of spot that you hit that it shows that street skiing is endless, the possibilities.
yeah.
So kudos to you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Last one from Will Cameron. He asks, what's your favorite movie and favorite movie segment of all time?
One of my favorites is like the Magnus's interpretation part. But like if I would have to pick a like really favorite one, it's the, if you've seen this like super old movie Guatemalan Persuader, there's this part where everyone is just like slamming hard. I think that's pretty dope. Like it's just a part where everyone is like falling super hard.
What is
It's
the name of the movie? Guatemalan?
Guatemalan Persuader. There's like this like Candid and Tanner Hall and all the, it's like maybe
Oh,
made in like
2003.
Yeah.
Dude, I've never seen it. I got to watch it.
Auntie showed that to us, and I don't know, it's just captured the mentality of skiing super well, because it was before anything was core or anything was anything. It was just like
Right.
goofing around. I feel like that has a good message to it.
Right. I'll have to watch that. And so that was a segment. What would be movie?
I would say maybe brain massage by Nipwitz, because it really like I grew up like being on those skier die events, and
Yeah.
I feel like that captures the mentality of like Finnish free skiing. It has this like huge roof gaps and everything, and it's like what we look up to as a group in Forre. Like when everyone is talking that you should only do natural speed spots, it's like we always go back to like brain massage, like how sick it was like to just have that Satan 666 winch and just go fast and celebrate that you can go fast while you're on skis and do big stuff.
Good choice. Well, did you have anything else that you wanted to touch on?
Like if there's like one message I would want to say to people that are skiing, it's that like I kind of came into this sport like super late. I never did well in any competitions, and kind of like thought that I couldn't be too good in this sport because I didn't start it too early. But like now I realize it's just about like doing the things your way, and maybe people enjoy your way of doing things and don't take it too seriously. It's just actually just a hobby. It sounds rough to say, but it's just a hobby, and try to like play around as a child plays in the sandbox. Like it should be just fun to you, and that's the main point. Don't try to be cool. Don't try to do what everyone wants, even though like I do it as well. Like, but like keep that in mind, that it's like just for you and just for fun, and that's how you make the best stuff.
Keeping the child spirit alive.
Yeah.
Well said. Thanks a lot for coming on, Mainio.
Thank you. Thanks for
Appreciate it.
having me.
Great talking to you. Great meeting you.
Yeah, same. It was a pleasure.
Hell yeah. Cheers, man.
Cheers. Thank you.
So this is it for episode 37 with Mainio Ormio. Big shout out to the sponsors, Surface Keys for presenting the episode, Dickhands Restaurant, Axis Board Shop, Planks Clothing. Peace.